Welcome back to my channel. All right, let's be honest. Netflix isn't exactly known for pushing the limits when it comes to extreme or shocking movies. From robotic killers and twisted thrillers to haunting true stories and classic horror legends, these are the movies that'll make you say, wait, that's actually on Netflix? So subscribe to my channel, grab your popcorn, maybe a stress ball too, and let's dive into the most graphic and extreme movies currently streaming on Netflix in 2025. Because trust me, by the end of this list, you'll never look at Netflix and chill the same way again. Well, our countdown starts from Christmas Bloody Christmas. Let's kick things off with pure chaos. Christmas Bloody Christmas. Now this one is for the metalheads, the gore lovers, and honestly, anyone who likes their Christmas with the side of carnage. The story follows Tori, a cynical record store owner who's just trying to enjoy a quiet holiday night. But things go completely off the rails when a robotic Santa Claus, yes, you heard that right, malfunctions and starts murdering everyone in sight. Picture this: neon lights flashing, heavy metal blasting, fake blood everywhere. It's like someone smashed together Terminator and a late-night grindhouse flick and said, Merry Christmas. The movie's got this unapologetic punk energy that makes it stand out from the usual Christmas horror stuff. Sure, it's messy and over the top, but that's exactly why it works. I'll be honest, the first half takes its time, with lots of booze-soaked conversations. But once Santa starts swinging that axe, it's non-stop madness. It's trashy, it's loud, it's ridiculous, and I loved every second of it. Next up is Luckiest Girl Alive. Now from holiday horror, we move to something a lot darker and more grounded. Luckiest Girl Alive starring Mila Kunis. This Netflix original tackles trauma, image, and survival in ways that hit hard. Kunis plays Ani, a successful New York writer who seems to have the perfect life. Great job, rich fiance, everything picture perfect. But beneath that polished surface lies the pain of a violent assault from her teenage years that she's never truly escaped. As a documentary forces her to confront her past, the film unravels like a psychological mystery, revealing just how fragile the illusion of control can be. The way the story moves between timelines is brilliant. You see how trauma echoes through every part of Ani's adult life. It's gut-wrenching and raw, but never exploitative, which I really respect. For me, what makes Luckiest Girl Alive so effective isn't just the subject matter, it's Mila Kunis's performance. She plays Ani with this mix of confidence and buried pain that feels painfully real. Next up, let's talk about Havoc. And yes, that title says it all. This is Tom Hardy at his absolute most unhinged. Directed by Gareth Evans, the same genius who brought us The Raid, this movie drops you right into the middle of a gritty, corrupt city where Hardy's character, a detective, is just trying to survive one very, very bad night. From the opening chase to the final beatdown, Havoc barely lets you breathe. Hardy moves like a tank. Every punch, every hit feels like it hurts. There's this one long hallway fight that honestly had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Now, I'll admit, the story's a bit thin and it's not as stylish as The Raid 2. But man, it's a masterclass in pure adrenaline. If you're into brutal, no-nonsense action flicks, Havoc is like cinematic caffeine. Now, let's slow things down with something that might be even more disturbing: compliance. And let me warn you, this one gets under your skin. It's based on a true story, which somehow makes it 10 times worse. The entire film takes place in a fast food restaurant where a man calls pretending to be a police officer and manages to manipulate the staff into doing horrific things to one of their own. What's shocking is how ordinary everything looks. Fluorescent lights, paper hats, cheap uniforms. Yet what happens inside those walls is deeply unsettling. You'll spend the entire movie asking, how could anyone go along with this? And that's what makes it so effective. Ann Dowd gives one of the most convincing performances I've ever seen. She's not evil, just heartbreakingly human, and that's what makes it chilling. Switching gears again, Match Point is a slick, seductive thriller directed by Woody Allen, starring Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Rhys-Meyers. Now, If you're expecting the usual Woody Allen quirkiness, forget it. This one feels more like a lost Alfred Hitchcock film than a typical Allen project. The story follows Chris, a charming tennis pro who marries into a wealthy family, only to start a passionate affair with his brother-in-law's fiancée. What starts as lust spirals into deceit, obsession, and finally, murder. I love this film because it explores how desire can quietly destroy everything. It's not loud or graphic, but the emotional brutality is intense. Johansson delivers one of her best performances, and that final act, chef's kiss. Cold, shocking, and morally twisted. Our next pick is one of those early 2000s thrillers that just hits differently. Don't Say a Word, starring Michael Douglas and the late, great Brittany Murphy. This one's a psychological thriller that feels like a time capsule from when movies weren't afraid to blend mystery, suspense, and real emotional tension. Douglas plays Dr. Nathan Conrad, a psychiatrist whose daughter gets kidnapped. The only clue to getting her back lies in the fractured mind of a young mental patient, played brilliantly by Brittany Murphy. My first time, what makes this movie work so well is how it plays with silence and information. Murphy's character knows a secret, one she literally refuses to say, and every scene between her and Douglas feels like a high-stakes game of trust and fear. Now, I'll be honest, it's not a perfect movie. Some of the tropes feel dated, and a few moments scream early 2000s Hollywood, but Brittany Murphy steals the show. Every time she says, "I'll never tell," it sends chills down your spine. Next up, let's talk about one of my all-time favorite revenge thrillers, Law Abiding Citizen. I still remember watching this in theaters and being completely blown away. It stars Gerard Butler as Clyde Shelton, a man whose wife and daughter are brutally murdered during a home invasion. But when the legal system fails to deliver justice, Clyde decides to handle things his own way. And let's just say his way makes the Joker look organized. Clyde's revenge isn't random. It's methodical, cold, and brilliantly executed. He manages to turn the entire justice system upside down, all from inside a prison cell. The cat and mouse game between Butler's character and Jamie Foxx's prosecutor is electrifying. It's not just about revenge, it's about a man proving that the system itself is broken. What I love most about Law Abiding Citizen is how morally complex it is. You find yourself agreeing with Clyde, rooting for him, even as he goes too far. And that's the beauty of it. Moving on, we've got a gothic masterpiece, Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Let me just say this, few horror movies have ever looked this stunning. Released in 1992, it's not just a retelling of the classic vampire legend, it's an operatic fever dream dripping with sensuality, blood, and heartbreak. Gary Oldman plays Count Dracula like no one else ever has. Romantic, terrifying, and deeply tragic all at once. Every frame of this movie looks like a painting. Coppola used practical effects, in-camera tricks, and lavish sets to bring 19th century Transylvania to life. This Dracula isn't just a monster. He's a man cursed by eternal love, and you can feel that pain in every scene. Now, I've seen a lot of vampire films, from Nosferatu to Let the Right One In. But this one, it's pure cinematic art. It's over the top, it's weird, it's beautiful, and it's easily one of my top recommendations for October or any dark, stormy night. Next up is one that hits hard in a very different way, Wind River. This movie doesn't rely on gore or cheap shocks. Instead, it's emotionally brutal. Written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, the same mind behind Hell or High Water and Sicario. It's a neo-noir thriller set in the icy silence of Wyoming's Native American reservation. Jeremy Renner plays a wildlife tracker who discovers the body of a young woman in the snow, and alongside an FBI agent played by Elizabeth Olsen, he sets out to uncover the truth. What follows is one of the most haunting and beautifully restrained crime dramas I've seen. The snow-covered landscapes act as both a backdrop and a metaphor. Cold, vast, and unforgiving. As the investigation unfolds, you realize Wind River isn't just a murder mystery. It's a story about isolation, justice, and the forgotten voices of Native communities. For me, Wind River is a perfect example of storytelling with purpose. It's not flashy, it's not trying to shock you, it just tells the truth. And finally, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the granddaddy of all horror films. This isn't just a movie, it's an experience. Directed by Tobe Hooper back in 1974, it changed the genre forever. Inspired by the crimes of real-life killer Ed Gein, It follows a group of friends who stumble upon a rural Texas home owned by a family of cannibals. What follows is pure madness, the kind that crawls under your skin and never leaves. What's crazy is that for a movie so infamous, Texas Chainsaw actually doesn't show that much blood. It's the sound design, the screaming, the editing, all of it working together to create an illusion of horror that feels disturbingly real. Leatherface, with his skin mask and chainsaw, became an instant horror icon, and decades later, that dinner scene still stands as one of the most unsettling moments in film history. I think what makes Texas Chainsaw Massacre timeless is how raw it feels. You can practically feel the Texas heat, smell the rust, and hear every heartbeat of terror. For me, this movie isn't just graphic, it's art. And that wraps up our list of the most graphic and extreme movies currently streaming on Netflix. Whether it's the neon-soaked insanity of Christmas Bloody Christmas, the quiet devastation of Luckiest Girl Alive, or the timeless terror of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, each one pushes limits in its own unforgettable way. So tell me, which one are you brave enough to watch first? Drop your pick in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button, share this with your fellow movie lovers, and subscribe for more dark, binge-worthy recommendations every week. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and keep watching the wild side of cinema.